feel that structured base because you are doing something that's supporting so many other bodies. Now my slay yoga teachers and future yoga teachers. Today we're talking about teacher stance. Teacher stance is so important because the way that you present yourself physically and energetically impacts your students' experience. Imagine being able to trust your teacher just by seeing who they are, feeling their energy, because the teacher has grounded themselves, is standing tall and taking teacher pranayama. So we're going to talk about teacher stance. I have my amazing teacher trainee right here. Ariel, thank you so much for your help. Teacher stance does work from the bottom up. When you stand as a teacher, how you place your feet matters. When you stand, have your feet so that you're standing in somewhat of a Tadasana. And that could be feet all the way together if that's something you feel comfortable doing. I prefer a hip width or a wider stance. Sometimes the width being a little bit wider, so take it just a little bit wider, allows for you to feel that structured base because you are doing something that's supporting so many other bodies. Standing slightly wider can allow for ease and prevent strain in your own body. So we have a slightly wider stance here, and then we work our way up. So slight bend in your knees so that you're not locking your knees out, but they're not all the way bent. So you have just that ease in your knees. So you can see right here, this is a slight bend all the way here. She's not like lock your knee and lift your kneecap up. So we're not locking out our knees so we can protect the knees. So go back to the bend. From there, you have your hips over your knees and align with your ankles. So we're not leaning way forward, we're not leaning way back, right there in the center of gravity so that you can also create shift, create movement. You can turn to the side, you can look at your students over here. You can look at your students over there, and you can move your feet. You can be fluid as you teach. That is awesome. All right, so from here, you have your core. In our culture, we're like, oh, suck it in, all these different things. Uddiyana, you can engage Mula Bandha. All those things are great. You have to do what feels good for you. You're gonna be teaching for however long, could be 15 minutes, could be an hour, could be 2 hours, could be 3 hours. So find a space for your belly that feels okay. I always recommend having used the restroom before you start teaching because there's nothing worse than being in a class and all of a sudden it's like, all right, so your insides are at ease when you use a restroom. From here, at the top, avoid folding in your shoulders, covering up. That portrays and projects uncertainty. That portrays and projects this sort of disconnect from your own self. So open up across your chest, but not really squeezing the shoulder blades. You want to expand outward from the side and from the front and back. So as if you could express your own love. That's coming towards your students and then also towards yourself. So you want to keep yourself feeling nourished in this cycle as it goes out, as it comes back in. So as you take your breaths, you're breathing all the way down into your belly and expanding out in all directions. Then you exhale out as you speak. We'll talk a little bit more about teacher pranayama in another video. From here, crown of your head, you're reaching up through the sky as if your spine is an antenna. So you're projecting your energy upward, or you could even imagine a receiving line, receiving energy, receiving intuition, receiving the next thing that your students need to hear. So you're receiving that as if your crown is open and ready to receive. So in your teacher stance, we're just gonna go over what we said. You're standing strong with your feet. They're anywhere from hip width to a little bit wider than hip width. Then you wanna have ease all the way up here, expanding out with your breath and receiving through the crown of your head. Because yoga is not about you as the teacher, although you do get to be the catalyst for the student's experience, it's really their experience. So the more that you're open to receive from source, whatever source is for you, the more that you're able to provide that safe space so that your students can have their own practice. If you want to practice standing and strengthening your standing, you can use a block. Blocks are such great tools, such great props for encouraging strength. And if you want to learn more about teaching with props, check out my video for teaching with props and how to use props in another YouTube video. To practice engaging your legs so that you can find ease in standing, and standing for a long time is something that you're new to teaching maybe, or maybe you have an injury, or you're working up to just standing in one spot and you want to learn how to do that, handy dandy block. So before I show you that, standing in one spot can really be powerful. There are a lot of yoga teachers that move around the classroom, that sit down during teaching, and whatever way you choose to teach is fine. One of the benefits of standing in one place when you teach is allowing students to have their own experience. And when the world changed, it was not as common for teachers to touch students as it has been in the past. You can relate. So standing in one spot was something that a lot of teachers had to get used to. So if you're in a space where it's still like, we're not moving around that much, or if you're teaching online and you're not able to move around and you don't want to be constantly shifting back and forth, using a block is a great thing to do. So you can place the block between your thighs, so midway between knees and crotch, so that it's not touching either one of those. And then you draw up and back. So the fronts of your thighs go towards the back of your body, and you're now engaging your entire root because it activates your feet all the way up to your Mula Bandha. And you're able to engage, support, and stabilize your own body, but then it gives you something to do while you're teaching your students. So you can talk from here and still be working there. So this is a great thing to play with. For your hands, if you need something to do for your hands, a great teacher hands placement could be outward in this position of Tadasana. You could bring hands together and touch. You could also do fingertips, and you can even touch your own body. So playing around with teacher stance can be so fun. Do you have some stances that you really love and that we didn't show here today? Share them in the comments below. We'll love to see it. Teachers read those comments. So if you are an experienced teacher and you want to share some of your knowledge and wisdom, please do that in the comments. Yoga teacher, you are invited to join me every Thursday for a yoga teacher coaching. This is all about getting your yoga business together. We're going to work on social media. We're going to work on pricing. We're going to work on business structure. We're going to work on management of your time. We're going to work on so many different components so that you don't have to do it alone. We're in this together because the mission is world peace through inner peace. And that only happens when we support each other. We create a tribe. We create that system that is uplifting so that you can uplift your students. I look forward to seeing you there. Right now, we have a 2-week trial going on. So you get 2 weeks free to see if you like it, to come feel the vibes. And then if you decide to stick with us, you can stick with us and we'll continue to grow every single month. I look forward to seeing you in the training. See you in the next video.